The last one, actually, the first time, it actually made me cough.
Dude, I can't, my brain is literally. My dad has to watch his son on camera doing this. We're gonna have some spicy food throughout the day, as well as some spicy conversation here in the wine cellar of St. Elmo. We have, per usual, what are we bringing here? I got a Rodney, you got a what?
I got a Gary.
Like Rodney and Gary here. We're gonna get some hot takes from our man Bryce over here. I think the first thing we have to do is try this. For starters, on our 7-layer journey, we're eating fried shrimp with remoulade.
All right.
This is available on the St. Elmo menu. We're gonna take it nice and easy as we ease in here. I think the first thing we have to do is have a little drink.
I would agree.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers. I have the pineapple jalapeno, so.
You went with pineapple jalapeno.
You know, it's in the spirit of things now. Ours isn't spicy, so.
Indiana's really well known for the Indy 500, really well known for basketball. What's one thing about Indiana that's underrated?
First one would be bourbon. Got a big plant, MGP, sits in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. A lot of bourbon produced out of that plant that most people just don't realize. We have a lot of really good distilleries and a lot of really good bourbons. And even if it doesn't say it's produced in Indiana, you can usually find out that it is. And limestone, man, like it's a weird one, but we're in DC and you're reading all the things and like all of the limestone from half these buildings or almost all the buildings was from Bedford, Indiana. So, which limestone's obviously used in creating bourbon too. So it's like a filter. It's like Earth's filter.
Isn't that like what makes Kentucky bourbon so good is the Indiana limestone?
That's kind of part of it. It's like sits on a limestone shelf and really good for water filtration is basically. Limestone's like one of the best natural water filters.
So bourbon, limestone, criminally underrated when it comes to the state of Indiana. Round 2 here, we're rocking with some blackened shrimp. So Dad Water is a brand that was built for dad to grill, mow, and chill. But I want to know, what's one dad stereotype that you think is completely off base?
I'll go a little bit with the grill part because they don't mind grilling, but we don't have the time to go out there and spend 8 hours on a beautiful brisket. If it were me, I would probably ruin said brisket at least 3 or 4 times first. It's for the dads that really have a passion for it, that have the time to do that.
I think you got the stereotype that every dad is great at grilling. It's like,
yes.
I like the thought of grilling.
Yes.
You know, like the thought of going out there and waking up at midnight and throwing a brisket on it, being ready for, you know, a noon kickoff it's great in theory, but in practice, the patience that it requires.
Yeah, all of a sudden a burger sounds real good. If it's, 2 in the morning and I got to get up and put something on the grill, like, maybe just some burgers would be good tomorrow. That'd be great.
We've graduated from the remoulade to
fancy
world-renowned cocktail sauce.
Yeah, when you see this bowl, it's probably getting serious.
Now, so we're starting here with their mild cocktail sauce. So if you go into the restaurant, you can order this mild cocktail sauce. You want to take down the first bite?
Yeah, let's do it.
Have you had an idea that you thought was going to crush it and flopped?
Our packaging last year. Whoo! Got that one. We love being different, all right? And that's why we did well with Mom Water. And so same thing with Dad Water. We're like, we want to be different. We want to kind of develop this like more masculine brand and, let's maybe try to like do an old school vintage looking 8-pack, right? And turns out if you create something that's kind of got a camouflage look, it works. So we had this disconnect. We would sample our product, tell people about it, Country Music Fest, all these different places. People would be wild about it. They're like, this is amazing. This is the best tequila drink we've had, because nobody's really nailed the tequila market. Yet you put it in a store, people couldn't find it. They didn't know what it was. So we've completely rebranded this year, which is one of the more exciting things. It was a long process. So that, to me, that was the biggest thing on the actual brand side.
You said your packaging flopped. Was that a hard moment of like hand up, like, hey, we did this and it didn't work the way we wanted to? And from like a leadership perspective, who has to take ownership for that?
Oh yeah, I took ownership of it because I think a lot of it was my idea. Not every idea we're gonna have is gonna be the best or good. I think it's just owning it and being able to like set your ego aside and be like, yeah, it didn't work, but how do we make it better? How was that one? So that one hit a little different.
It's mild. So we've hit the halfway. I'm gonna rock a Steve here with the grapefruit.
All right, I'm going lime.
What's the lime's name?
That is Tom.
Tom.
That's my father-in-law.
Well, it's great that we're talking about names, right? So every can of Mom Water, every can of Dad Water is named after someone. As you guys have gone through there, have there ever been any names that just didn't make the cut?
On the Karen meme, it happened because we started right before COVID, and the Karen meme happened during COVID. So actually when it happened, it kind of freaked us out. So we're like, wow. Was this going to be like a negative thing? Looked at our brand, and we're going to be nice to Karens because they had a bit of a rough go Like, they didn't have anything to do with the meme, only one lady did. It turned out really good. I think we actually had Karens that were saying, hey, thank you for not being mean to us.
One day I end up becoming a dad. 2, how many views does this video have to get for when I become a dad, there to be a dad water named after me?
1 million views, right?
1 million views. If
Million
this
views.
video gets 1 million views, then when I
gotta
have
have a
when I have a child.
Yeah, that's true.
So like we have years.
Hopefully
there
Dad Water's
to-
still around. We're
Yeah.
super mega popular at that point.
Yeah, and it would be huge, and it'll be like the biggest thing.
Maybe can we somehow factor that into a gender reveal?
Oh, 1 million views, gender reveal, and dad water naming reveal. So that was the base layer.
Okay.
Layer.
All right.
The base layer of what they serve here at St. Elmo. We're now adding like a slightly more of the very spicy horseradish.
Go ahead.
You're a father of 3 kids, 20, 18, 14. What's the best piece of fatherly advice that you've ever received?
When you're raising your kids from an early age, like, you shouldn't be focusing on being their friend. As crazy as that sounds, you should be focusing on just raising a good human to release into the world, hopefully has a net positive on society. And then, the friendship comes, later in age, where you want to hang around your kids, they want to hang around you. It always makes sense. Like, we were all raised, like, each generation, inherently, I think we probably get softer and softer the way our grandparents were raised, our parents, us. But we always look at that and we're like, man, you get so mad at your parents when you're getting raised. Like, why are you so strict? Why do you do this? Then you become a dad and you're like, oh, I get it now. Like, it eventually makes sense, but
Where do you think that inflection point is?
like, your whole worldview changes when you become a parent. It's the greatest thing ever. And it's not about you anymore. It's about this awesome thing you made, like this actual person that you're responsible making, and now it's your job to make sure you don't mess it up. It's a lot of burden, it's a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, it's the biggest joy, I think, of being an adult.
What's one stage of your kid's life that you miss?
It's the sports side. You travel, you kind of like, the parents tend to band together, right? You're hanging out. Your friends aren't necessarily dictated by who you want to hang out with all the time. It's like, this is your friend group. It's all of your kids' parents because you're with them all the time. And then from that friend group, you develop actual friends. It's kind of neat. It's a neat part in life because you're forced to go out and make new friends because this is who your kids are hanging out with. This is who you're traveling with. And I think the sports in general, everybody always says you'll miss it. I'm like, yeah, I agree. It's kind of like before you have kids and after. After you have kids, you're like, what did we do with all of our time? How was that last bite?
Totally fine. I'm unfazed.
It's great.
I think people outside of the state of Indiana tend to hate on our food culture here. They don't think there's anything more than tenderloins, sugar cream pie.
Yeah.
If you had to make your perfect meal of Hoosier food, what would be in it?
It has to start with a breaded tenderloin. Like, we're famous for them, but it has to at least be like 3 times the size of the bun. It's got to be corn on the cob, the sugar cream pie, and a dad water.
I just had like a
little bit of
failed to compute.
yeah, nothing was working.
So you're making that perfect Hoosier meal. You gotta have a 3-to-1 bun to loin ratio.
Cheese, pickles, and mayo kind of guy. I'm a breaded tenderloin.
Cheese.
I'm always like, slap some cheese on it. Cheeseburger. Hamburgers don't exist to me. It's got to be a cheeseburger, right?
Yep.
We're both like a little hesitant now. It's like a little trigger happy.
I'm a little gun shy, yeah.
A little gun shy. But we have what, one left after this? The last one, actually, the first time, it actually made me cough.
You're talking about tough love on your parents. You want them to grow up and make good decisions in life, and then my dad has to watch his son on camera doing this stupid shit. Well, the good news is we've come to the final round.
Okay.
Now it's time for us to sample St. Elmo shrimp cocktail with the spiciest of the spicy, the horseradish that they have to offer. This is the final challenge. Tons of things you could put on their bucket list, right? A Friday night basketball game in a tiny gym, a dive bar, pork tenderloin. If you had to make your Mount Rushmore of Indiana things that every Hoosier needs to do, what would you put on it?
Geez. You for sure have to catch an Indiana high school basketball game. But it hits you at the end, by the way. But it has to be a sectional game, Indiana basketball high school sectional game. But what I will say too is Indiana is about small towns, Midwestern hospitality, all that stuff. So here's what I would really say is you got to get with somebody that's got a sweet side-by-side, go into the woods, hit some trails. Like, That's, on a really nice like fall Indiana night, maybe a spring. That's the best way, in my opinion, to experience Indiana.
One of those cotton candy sunsets and a side-by-side.
Yeah, man, like that's, backwoods a little bit. We've got,
So that's one. You have 3 more for your Mount Rushmore.
It's not. What? Yeah. So, side by side, sectional high school basketball game. You got to go find some random covered bridges. We got a lot of cool covered bridges in Indiana. We have some really good like fall fests. I feel like we have good fall fest. Evansville's got a really good fall festival.
Is that the West
State
Side
Fair.
Nut Club?
Yeah, they call it the Midwest Charm, and you don't really understand it till you're here. Things that involve people are really good
Sectional
around
basketball
here.
game.
Yep.
Side-by-sides.
Yep. Covered bridges.
Fall festival.
And a good fall festival somewhere.
What? This is.
God almighty.
Why am I doing this?
I know. We keep doing it.
This is for you.
Yeah.
You want
The
more
things
than
we do.
1 million views so I can get a dad water named after me one day when I have a child.
Hold on, maybe the lemon will help. Put a little lemon on there. Holy God.
Oh, that helped.
Did it? We chase it?
Lemon juice right down the gullet. Oh, now it's just sour.
No, it didn't
It's
help.
way worse. It's a memorable experience I'll never forget today. There's one thing, right? Dad Water is an Indiana brand.
We are, yep.
What's one thing you want Hoosiers to know when it comes to Dad Water?
We're as real as it gets. Like, what you see is what you get. This is me. Just like you. Like, again, it's trying to put the Midwestern hospitality into a brand. We want to bring back old school humor a little bit of a retro. Should be an ode to fatherhood, just like Mom Water is an ode to motherhood. What we're really trying to do is give a bunch of people an alternative to maybe just like light beer. When we were growing up and you start drinking, what was the thing that you drank? Was everybody's first drink usually in this area? Kegged Busch Light or something. No one honestly liked that.
No.
You drank it because everyone else was, and there's peer pressure, and you're like, oh, well, I guess eventually I'll like this. And so, for us, this is a more approachable, light, easy to session drink. It's cleaner. And I think that's why a lot of people are gravitating towards our products, is because we don't cut corners. You know what you're going to get. If you see the Mom Water or Dad Water label on something, we're transparent. You know that we didn't cut corners, and that that's a cleaner option than a lot of the other things you'll see on the market. So, for us, that's what we're trying to deliver. Something that's super sessionable, easy, and you don't quite have all the regret.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you and all the stuff you're doing. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
And
appreciate you.
Until next time. Huge shout out to our friends at Hughes Culinary, St. Elmo.
This doesn't work without it. Kudos to St. Elmo's.
Do yourself a favor. Next time you're in the grocery store, pick up some of St. Elmo shrimp cocktail, horseradish that's coarse cut here, and try your own challenge. And while you're there and you need something to rinse it down with, make sure you pick up a Dad Water, because it's phenomenal. Bryce?
100%. Like, you're going to see some new stuff we just released Dad Water 6-packs. We had a lot of folks that were like, we like all the flavors, but we really like one of the flavors. So now you will be able to go into stores, buy your own 6-pack of Dad Water, single flavor. Also, we have a brand new look to our variety pack. It's awesome. Keep an eye out in stores. It's going to be a lot easier to find these days. Hit us up on social media, man.
Yeah.
The Drink Dad Water, Drink Mom Water.
Mr. Dad Water.
Mr. Dad Water.
Nathan Mangle, Get Indiana. And let us know what challenge you want to see us do next.